You're on the hatchery website and you want to order some chickens that you're going to raise this year to consume for meat. You're going through that process. I'm here to help you. And you have to make that decision. Do you want all male chicks? Do you want all female chicks, which are less expensive? Or do you want straight run and get the variety? In today's video, we're going to talk about that decision in particular, male versus female versus straight run, and how that affects your decision making and your business planning when it comes to running your small farm operation. It also works if you're running a homestead as well. There's different things that you're going to get out of the different sexes, and let's go over that right now. So to start off, while you're on this video, you want to raise birds out on pasture, moving them onto tomorrow's salad bar and away from yesterday's toilet so that they have a good life, you have a good life, and your customers have a good life as well. And you want those birds to have regular movement so they're getting away from that manure, finding lots of grubs and bugs, and that you can have a nice shiny smile on your face when you're doing what you love, which is being out in nature, making sure that these guys and gals have plenty of things to eat. Now, the critical decision when it comes to these birds is sex. Now let's just go down the line here. All male chickens, they're going to grow faster. There's going to be more meat, and more meat equals more money. But also with the males, in particular, there's a higher mortality because they're growing so quickly, especially with the Cornish cross white chickens, that they tend to have a higher mortality. And from my experience, I find that the birds that are dying off are the ones that are male. So all male might have a slightly higher mortality all around, where females tend to be more resilient. The males are also more aggressive. They'll beat up each other just a little bit if they don't have things to do, which becomes a problem when you want to pluck them and then there's scratches on them from them fighting each other. You know, if you don't manage your environment properly, the more aggressive all males, you might have some more issues with quality control. Now, going to an all-female batch of birds, we're going to have lower mortality because they're a little bit more resilient. They're smarter and have better personality, which I find between males and females. The females are smarter, it's just the males are bigger, so the males end up in power and control, but females really run the show because they are smarter and have better personality. They are a little slower growing. They're going to get a smaller frame than the males. Less meat equals less money, so if you were going to go all females, you would pay less on a per chick basis. But because males are going to be more expensive, females are going to be less expensive, but you're going to get less out of them in the long term. So a penny saved here is dollars lost down the line. Now, straight run males versus female, this is the best of both worlds. For growth, you get a variety of size for your customers. No chicks are culled in the sexing process, so you can sleep well at night knowing that you didn't cause any little babies to be terminated because you're an equal opportunity producer. Depending on your hatchery, you may end up with more females than males because people are going to buy more of the males, which means there'll be more females left over. So your straight runs may be heavily skewed towards the females, but that depends on the hatchery, and I can't, individual results may vary. This is my preference. I am biased on this option, and that is fine. And if you want to raise your own birds for meat, you can get started with the Chicken Tractor plans to build your shelter. Pastured Poultry Packet number 1, which is the Economics of Broiler Chickens, and I help you work out the cost to raise one chicken. Then you can scale that up or down from there. And Pastured Poultry Packet number 2, Marketing Grass-Fed Chicken and Eggs, is how to approach your marketing as a small direct-to-consumer producer who is trying to make some money off of their efforts on farm. You can find all 3 of my books on farmmarketingsolutions.com/store. Now, what does that mean out on the farm? And if you are packing your freezers for yourself and your homestead friends and family, or trying to sell to customers? Well, if you figure there is a 8-week rotation on average for Cornish cross, you can get it shorter if you have all males and you have good production. You can get it down to 6.5, 7.5 weeks. So it's more efficient from a labor standpoint, but I like the nice clean as an educational tool, 8-week rotation on the Cornish cross broilers. Now then for straight run, assuming it's 50-50 for the purposes of this example, it's going to be different hatchery to hatchery, and that's something you can talk to your individual hatchery about. Hey, I was thinking about getting straight run birds. What do you think the ratio is male to female so I can expect X, Y, and Z for my sales later on down the line. Males versus females, smaller frame on the females, better as a whole bird or a fryer or something that you're not going to get as many. If you part it out, your parts are going to be smaller and they're going to be harder to manage, and you don't want too big of a bird to sell as a whole bird. So those female birds with the smaller frame are going to be better for those whole, not so cut up chickens. Again, the sizes are going to vary. And then the male birds at 8 weeks are going to be bigger, and those are ones that are going to be very hard at 5.5, maybe 6 pounds at full size. To sell a 6-pound bird on your per pound basis when you're selling a whole chicken, there is an audience for that, but I found it to be very limited. What I do with the bigger birds is then cut them up into pieces and package your wings, your drums, your thighs, your breasts, etc. So you're scaling what you get out of each bird and getting a higher price point the smaller you package it. Cause a little bit more labor, but you make up for it in the end margin by parting that bird out and selling those pieces. You get a good product mix of whole birds to parted out birds. When you have that straight run, you have the smaller birds held back for whole birds, and some cut ups, maybe you cut them in half. And then the bigger birds, you cut up and put them into pieces and sell those packages. It's going to come down to your individual decision, and we'll talk more about that in future videos. But for now, I think this is a good primer for you to get started on, do you want all male birds, all female, or straight run? Talking with my hands. Bow, 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 bow.